Greetings and welcome, my fellow Guardians. Joker here. Bungie, you had one job: to create exotics worthy of a Year 1 legacy. After all, you're taking some of the community's favorite toys away for the foreseeable future, in the name of progress, of ensuring we don't keep using the same weapons and gear for the next 10 years. I assume that creating replacements for these toys may be a daunting task. After all, exotics can't break the game. No, we've seen enough of Thorn and Last Word and Galahorn, but they've also got to be worth the name exotic. So might I ask, what the actual fuck is this? Now, I'm gonna butcher this name, but I believe this is the Empyrean Bellicio. Aiming your weapons while in the air will hold you in place for a short time. Orbs collected when your super is full will recharge your melee ability. You do understand, Bungie, no one actually uses Angel of Light, right? Like, nobody. Nobody seriously uses it. Yes, it gives you a vantage point, sure, but it also makes you the biggest target in the game. The perk is a literal joke. The only thing I like about this exotic is the second half of its perk. Collecting orbs when your super is recharged will recharge your melee, and this would be great if it wasn't for the fact that 90% of the Titan's melees are garbage. If the Titan's going to melee you, it's probably going to be with shoulder charge. And in PvE, this melee perk is further useless because, well, more often than not, light switch is in play, and meleeing an enemy is suicide. Just from a first impression standpoint of this exotic, if I were to review it, I'd give it a 2 out of 10. It doesn't look that great. The main exotic perk is a bust, and the secondary perk could be good on the Solar Titan once we know more about their melee, but don't rush to buy this exotic. If Zur has it week 1, pass. Wait to see what else is coming. Next up, we have the Chaperone, an exotic shotgun. It fires a single slug shot and grants an agility boost when equipped. Your precision kills will grant you a brief increase to handling, range, rate of fire, and stability. This could have been a sleeper, except for the fact that we know that this only tickles the enemy from less than a foot away. The other issue I have with this gun is it's all about buffing the player. The Mighty Multi-Tool does this and it's amazing. However, those are intrinsic buffs for just having the gun equipped. However, this gun requires a precision kill to grant its exotic ability. And honestly, that's stupid. It should grant at least, if we're going to have it tied to a kill, it should just be on a kill, period. Based simply on how much work it's going to take to get a kill with this gun. This gets a 4 out of 10 because, well, honestly, it looks like there's a lot of wasted potential here. You know, I might have been a little harsh on the Empyrean Bellisto because, compared to our next exotic, it's fucking gold. Next, we're looking at the alchemist remnant. Collecting primary ammo will give you a chance to gain glimmer. Orbs collected when your super is full will recharge your grenades and melee. This is quite possibly the worst exotic in the game. The glimmer cap is 25,000 and most people are constantly there. On top of that, we already have a lot of ways to gain glimmer. Glimmer boosting items such as resupply codes, ether seeds, and black wax idols. On top of that, we now have ghosts that will gain glimmer for killing Hive, Cabal, Taken, Titans, Hunters, Warlocks. Having the potential to get glimmer when picking up primary ammo is a joke, and it turns a really cool looking exotic into a piece of garbage. I'm going to have to wait and see on how well the orb pickup perk works, but for now, you get a 0 out of a 10. Next up for review is and pardon me for getting this wrong because I inevitably will, the telelisto, a vestige of the Queen's Harbingers. The fusion rifle will attach projectiles to your foes and detonate with a delayed void blast. Multi-kills with this weapon will drop orbs for your allies. Now, this is an exotic weapon. I don't really see this being very helpful in PvP, but for PvE, the crowd control potential here is really interesting. I really don't have much to say about it until we see it in action. It'll either be really good at what it does or really underwhelming. 7 out of 10 until we know more. Sealed hungcara grasps are filled with nightmare fuel. And you can say that again. Blink users with 2 blink strikes? Are you fluffy kidding me right meow? Are you fluffy kidding me right meow? However, these are still a tad underwhelming, but are possibly the best exotics we've seen thus far. They will provide you with an additional melee charge, and your melee damage will have a chance to reload your primary weapon. The second half of this perk seems rather useless because, well, I think most people, like myself, are chronic reloaders. The first half, however, is interesting. It'll be cool to see if this stacks with the perk that gives hunters 2 throwing knives to give them 3. Doubtful considering Hardopraxic Fighter and the perks that give warlocks 2 grenades don't stack, but interesting to consider. This could be really useful to a Void Hunter, because their melee is actually a second grenade type, a smoke bomb. The smoke bomb can be upgraded to deal poison damage, or to work as a trip mine type grenade that can be placed on the map. But like I said at the beginning, the most apparent use for this will be the 2 blink strike charges. Nightmare fuel indeed. So for now, this is going to go ahead and just get an 8 out of 10. It could be amazing, however, it still seems to under my whelm. The last exotic we have is the Sleeper Stimulant. A fusion rifle that will equip in your heavy slot, this weapon's lasers tear through enemies and ricochets off hard surfaces. I've already done a video on this in detail, so I'll just cover the bullet points. Just use a rocket, or a sniper with skip rounds, or a heavy machine gun, or better yet, a sword. This weapon is a novelty item, much like the Queensbreaker's Bow or Dreg's Promise, only at a higher cost. Yes, I'm sure some will enjoy it. However, this will not be your go-to weapon, and it will most certainly not be replacing Gjallarhorn like Game Informer proposes. For me, this weapon will sit in my vault, and most likely be one of the first weapons scrapped, much like most of these exotics, when I need to free up vault space. Looking over the list, there's only 1 or 2 weapons that I would ever take to level up. This one gets a 3 out of 10. But those are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments below, and like always, my fellow Guardians, stay frosty.